Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all well. Huge pleasure to be here with you all today. I joined Lumen 2.5 years ago. I met Kate and Ashley and a few other executives, Chris, and I was just blown away by where they wanted to take this company, what they wanted to do with this company, from rebuilding the culture, rebuilding the networks, the technology. It was so exciting for me. And then Kate asked me the question, would you run into the fire with me? And here I am. And we're still running through the fire. I run operations across North America. What we do is we look after the planning, the design, the deployment, the management professional services, and the service assurance of all of our networks, looking after the network day in, day out, making sure the network is available, offering the amazing services to our customers that they've come to expect from us. Today I'm going to talk about how we're setting the pace, how we are leading the industry when it comes to building the backbone for the AI economy. I'm going to start by sharing a short video with you all that we call The Big Build. This video was filmed over the last few months, and we've filmed it coast to coast, and what we're doing with this video is highlighting this mass-scale construction project that's going on. It's going on all around us, even as we speak. Thousands of people engaged across the country doing this. And so I hope this brings to life what we do day in, day out here at Operations.
We're going around the globe more than one time with new fiber.
This is the view of the entire network that we're working on.
Literally, it is coast to coast, corner to corner, across mountains and deserts and borderline jungle. We're getting deep into southern Texas, Nebraska, California, New York. It's touching everything. We're looking at a nationwide rollout, cumulatively 27,000 miles of new fiber. I am not aware of any individual program to build this much fiber that's ever happened anywhere.
Customers are coast to coast. You got to connect the dots, so that's what we're doing.
I think it's a cool opportunity to put your fingerprint on something that hasn't been done at this scale all at one time. And the flexibility and adaptability of fiber means that it's going to be around a long time.
The railroad is kind of the first network that the country had. Morse code ran beside a railroad, and telecom did the same thing.
I really want to give kudos to the legacy companies that built this network, in some cases 80 years ago or 30 years ago. We're in that position where we should be able to put fiber in the ground faster than anyone. We have the infrastructure in place, and now we're going to utilize it. Chicago and metro environments, they're tough to do business in. Where we're going to be successful in those situations is having the right team and the right people in place for it.
These little things are actually the big things that are making America work right now.
It takes a lot of work getting everybody synced up on the same page.
Our engineers at Lumen designed a new shelter, something we could update and renew and scale for the future.
Every single dot on this particular map represents one of our ILAs. We are basically laying the road for the future of AI and the future of telecommunication. These shelters are basically triple the power density than what we've traditionally seen over the last 20 years. We've configured it to be as plug and play as possible so we can have the highest quality output that feels and looks the same across the country.
Here you got this red line that is your backbone fiber coming in. Then everything feeds off of that backbone.
Now we're building a new network dedicated for the future.
Power pack, pull off some slack. Let's get this fiber in. Okay, here we go, gentlemen.
So just to put it into perspective, one of those shelters, which we call the double-wide shelter, would fit in probably about half of this room. You'd be lucky to get 2 of them into this room, right? So I hope that kind of gives you a view of the kind of scale that we're talking about in terms of, you know, the construction effort that's going on. So this is our network. This is our crown jewel. And importantly, as you heard from Chris, there's a lot of capacity in this network. There's additional ducting in this network. This is a unique network in the United States in that it gives us everything that we need, all the ingredients that we need to be successful as we build this new backbone. The network is resilient, it is low latency, and it is hyper-connected. And you'll hear from Dave and the team just how hyper-connected this network is and how we're going to make it even more connected as we go forward in the future. The network, once built, and you can see, obviously, we're building the fiber infrastructure at the moment, will be controlled by digital experiences. And again, you'll hear from Dave and the team on exactly what those experiences are, and Dave will bring them to life. And that's incredibly important because it is game-changing for our industry. So data volumes, it should be no surprise to anybody in the room just how quickly data volumes are increasing due to AI. By 2030, we expect 19-20x growth in data consumption, which is mind-boggling. It's a huge amount of data. That data will need a lot of fiber in the ground. It will need a lot of technology to move around the country, into data centers, out and between data centers, hyperscalers, and so on and so forth. But it also changes how we build the networks. You heard Chris talk about if we started with a clean sheet of paper, would we build the network in the same way that it is constructed today? And the answer to that is we definitely would not. We would build it differently, and that's what we're doing, right? So the networks of today are not the networks of the future, right? We need more distribution. We need more locations connected to the network. We need much more fiber in the ground, and that's what we're doing. So our solution is PCF, or custom fabric. I like to think about this as your network, your way. You can choose the ingredients. We have all the ingredients to be successful. If you're a hyperscaler that runs a large global network, you know what you're doing in terms of lighting up the fiber, you know what you want, you know where you want it, and we will work with those hyperscalers to construct in the way that they want. Other customers, they want us to do everything for them, soup to nuts. They want us to design the network, they want us to build the network, they want us to integrate the network, and then they want us to operate the network as well, right? So in operations, we provide all of these services, from the design services through to the deployment of these networks, and all the way up to the operation and maintenance of the networks as well. So how did we go about building the foundation of the AI infrastructure? So just like with the network build, we started with a clean sheet of paper. We recognized very early on that this was such a huge undertaking to deploy $8.5 billion of network infrastructure that we were not going to be able to do that with our traditional way of working, and we would just overpower the teams that we have in place. So we started with a clean sheet of paper, and we built a brand new team from scratch. We developed new processes, we developed new tools, we made sure we instilled a new culture into that team in our ways of working, not just our ways of working within the team, but how we show up with our customers and how we show up with our vendors or our partners as well in the field, right? So we've instilled that culture into how we work end to end. We also built a massive ecosystem of partners. So coast to coast, we work with the biggest and the best companies in the United States to bring this to life. We have thousands of people out in the field, day in, day out, who are deploying these networks, and we work very, very closely with them as we do that. And importantly, as we built this, we needed national scale, but we needed local knowledge. Okay, when you think about permitting, you think about what's happening in individual municipalities across the country. We needed that big scale to do this, but we needed that local knowledge as well. So we went and we made sure we built that through the way that we approach our permitting. We've built dedicated teams and specialists across the country that can help us with that. We established the team in 9 months. So from start to finish, 65% of the people in the team are new to Lumen. So we took, of course, a lot of extremely good people from Lumen into the team, but then we went out and we found the very best people in the industry to come and join Lumen. And so many people wanted to be part of this. It was actually amazing for me to see how many people wanted to be part of this, coming in from the wireless industry, as well as from the wireline industry and other industries as well. So we've been able to build a world-class team. Deployment is underway, and it's going really, really well. We have already deployed 3,000 miles of fiber, and we're ahead of target. And we've built 144 shelters or ILAs, so 144 times this room, if you think about that in terms of the scale that we've built. And we have 145 more under construction right now. So it's going really, really well. The team is performing as we expected, and so are our partners out in the field. The other thing that we're doing is we're making sure, of course, that we have a world-class operations to operate this network, that our infrastructure is capable of managing this AI backbone. This is the AI backbone for the economy. So, of course, we are implementing AI systems to manage this network, right, that will enable us to very, very quickly understand the root cause of something, to effect repairs in record time, and so on and so forth. So we're building that layer on top of this through our service assurance teams. So we're also building, on top of all of this infrastructure, a number of very important things. And this is the enabling infrastructure for what Dave is going to be talking about when he's up here after the break. We've built something called Rapid Routes. So this is mass-scale waves built across the country, right? So you see that map on the left-hand side. We started this project 6 months ago, and 2 weeks from now it will be complete. All of those blue lines will be filled in. What this wave network enables you to do is to light up customers within a matter of days. Previously, what would happen is customers would order a wavelength service, call it a 10 gig, 100 gig, 400 gig connection from A to B. And if we didn't have the capacity there, we would have to go and deploy that capacity. And we'd have to visit all of these shelters. We'd have to do all the work necessary to line all of that up. It could take months to do so. With this system now in place, we are able to do that in days. And we've already lit up the first customers last week. We lit up a customer coast to coast in 3 days. So very, very pleased to see that working. There's more routes being added daily. Yesterday we added El Paso to Stratford, and we also added Denver to Dallas. And as I said, within 2 weeks this map will be completed. Phase 2 has already started, so we will be adding more and more routes, phase 2. So as we go into 2026, the first half of 26, this map will look completely different. Actually, we're adding almost the same amount of routes again. Then we come into data center expansion, which is closely linked to metro expansion. So as we go into the metros, we are rebuilding our metro access networks. So we're moving away from the legacy metro networks that we have today into metro networks that are capable of delivering 100 gig up to 400 gig to the premises. So a customer will be able to go from their premises of choice all the way into the cloud, hyperscalers, cloud to cloud, through the multi-cloud gateways that we're also deploying in these metros, and they will be able to do that digitally. And so these projects are all well underway. The data center expansion, the metro expansion, all goes live by the middle of December. So the teams are working on this right now. Then we go into the next phase, which we don't have in here, but there's a phase 2 and a phase 3 as we obviously roll out this technology into more and more metros. So this just shows you where we are today on the PCF rollout. Here's the shelter deployment, and here's the network overpull, as we call it. So in total, 23,000 miles is underway at the moment across 73 different routes, and 553 shelters that we need to deploy. 144 shelters complete, 145 in construction, and we've almost completed 3,000 miles of fiber overpull across 26 routes. This is as of today. Towards the end of this year, we will be at 289 shelters complete, which will be 52% of the scope. Things are moving so fast with our hyperscaler partners that they need everything that they ordered from us quicker and quicker, basically. That's my day-to-day phone calls. Can you do more? Can you go faster? It's It's unbelievable, really. And so we are pushing as hard as we can to get the infrastructure out there, because without these shelters, you can't light the fiber. We can get the fiber in the ground, and what we're seeing is the consumption of the fiber in the ground is growing more and more and more. Whereas previously it may have spent a couple of years in the ground, it may only spend a few weeks in the ground before being lit now. So our customers are also lighting up and consuming the fiber in the ground, I would say, at a record pace. We will hit around 4,000 miles of fiber deployed by the end of 2025, and we're also working very, very hard to set ourselves up for 2026. Here's the 2026 plan. We want to be at 15,000 kilometers, sorry, wrong country, 15,000 miles. I still do that. 15,000 miles by the end of 2026, with 30 routes completed, 35 routes in construction. So you can imagine what comes live in 26, we have to start in 25. What comes live in 27, we have to start in 26, right? Because the effort to do this is extreme. And then 2027, we want to be at 27,000 miles completed, and all of the shelters that are in the current scope completed. And we are expecting more shelters to come into the program. Here's just some pictures, just to bring to life a little bit more on the video that we looked at. We have the ILA deployment. What you can see there is a double wide. So these are built in South Dakota, in Sioux Falls. We set up a dedicated factory with one of our vendors. It's a huge facility, and all they do is make these for us. They make them, they ship them to our locations. We have to, of course, install the concrete pads, all of the peripherals, the generators, the batteries, the rectifiers, all of that kind of support infrastructure. Then the heavy machinery comes in, the cranes and so forth, and places the ILA. And then they are literally bonded together into one unit on the site. So as they're bonded together, they're weatherproofed and so forth. And these are generational investments in that they will last a very, very long time, made from reinforced concrete. Then we have the network overpull. It sounds easy. It's not easy. The teams sometimes have to dig up. They have to repair conduit and so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of heavy construction going into that. And then, of course, we have new routes being constructed as well, right? So we have to take our network to the location that the hyperscalers or the data centers, or sometimes, of course, our enterprise customers, we have to take it where they want it, right? Which involves building new routes as well. So we're heavily into the new route construction, and you see that ongoing right there. Kate or Chris mentioned Corning. So of course we have a very, very strong partnership with Corning, and we've worked really closely with them to develop new cable technologies, because we wanted to get the maximum amount of fiber into the conduit that was already existing that we could. And traditionally these networks have been built with 432 fibers. Sometimes you would get up to 864. But we knew that we needed to go higher than that because the demand was so much. And of course, overpulls and all of the construction is expensive, so you want to get as much in the ground as efficiently as possible. So working with Corning, we developed a new 864 cable, an 1152, and a 1728 count cable that are all now ready for deployment, and they're going into the ground. Corning also set up a dedicated facility just for Lumen. We take a lot of their global capacity coming out of that facility in Hickory, North Carolina. The fiber itself is a game-changing design, and I have some samples here. And in the break, I'd be happy to pass samples out so you can actually touch and look at the fiber and answer any questions about how is it constructed and why is it special. So I'll be available in the break to show you that. And so working with Corning has been great. They've ramped up production. You can see some examples here. The fiber comes to us in spools. We then have to lay it out in a figure of 8 configuration. And in the top left-hand side there, you can see the machine that actually blows compressed air into the conduits and blows the fiber through the conduits. So we're playing to win, and we're just getting started. It is so exciting to be here right now as we build this new backbone across the country and we bring it to life. The teams are up and running. As I said, I'm very, very proud of the team that we've built. The expertise in the team, the culture in the team is absolutely fantastic. The infrastructure is real, as you can see. We're out there, we're building it. It's coming to life. We're ahead of schedule with what we're doing. We're getting the fiber in the ground. We're getting the ILAs built, I would say, in record time. And important for me is that we're gaining momentum. So momentum in these programs is really, really important. When you start, it takes time for things to gel, for processes to come to life, for tools and systems and people to get to know each other. And then you get the momentum. And then it takes on a life of its own. And I feel like we're there already. This has now taken on a life of its own. Those teams are day in, day out, racing to get this done, and they're getting it done in record time. And we're very, very proud of what everyone is achieving out there. Okay, so thank you.